Hey guys, Foxy is Trading here, back with another crypto video for you guys, and we are back talking about Stellar. Now today's video is going to be focused on ISO because I have realized that I've been doing a lot of chart analysis for Stellar, but I really haven't talked about Stellar and ISO and how it is important for the future, and it's very, very important. So we're going to do a full breakdown what ISO is, why it's important, and then how Stellar integrates into ISO in all of that, okay? So what we have is 8 crypto coins that are ISO compatible, okay? Now, maybe ISO 20022 is a new term for many people. So let's break down what ISO is. ISO is a global upgrade to how financial institutions are going to be able to communicate with each other. I want you guys to think of it as a new language for money being sent around the world, okay? So the old system is SWIFT, the new system is ISO. It is more detailed, it's faster, it's more secure, it's easier for banks to use, and it's built for digital assets and smart payments. Okay, so it's going to be allowing banks and governments and payment networks to share data that is more rich, which reduces errors, okay, and it's going to improve compliance. So why is ISO so important? ISO is truly going to be a massive shift. Also, almost all major banks are migrating to it. 80% of global transactions will eventually be using it, and it improves cross-border payments, which is also one of the biggest issues, I would say, in finance. So you can really just see how important it is going to be for the future, especially when everybody starts integrating it. So now, how does Stellar fit into one of the most important things that will be happening for the financial institutions? Well, I made a little chart, a graph for you guys, and we're going to break down each point before we go to market structure and talk about that, because that is also pretty important. There's a lot of zones to talk about, so let's get right into it. Number one, Stellar is built for cross-border payments. We know that, right? So ISO's main focus is fixing slow, expensive global transfers. Now, Stellar's whole purpose is real-time global settlement, right, with very low fees. So the upgrade, it benefits what Stellar is already doing inherently, right? So it goes hand in hand together. Number two, Stellar already uses structured rich data formats. Stellar's transaction model is, you can kind of map it very clearly and cleanly into ISO messages. So it's going to make it a lot easier for banks, fintech partners, money transfer companies, stablecoin issuers to be able to integrate with Stellar Rails. And because they're already using such good structured and rich data formats, it's just going to make it so much smoother. So Stellar has already been on track, and this is kind of just boosting them even more into the right direction. Okay, so number three, right? XLM is positioned for CBDCs and tokenized assets. So ISO is, as we know, the communication layer for the next era of fintech. Stellar is trying to be the settlement layer. Now, the combination is going to be very, very powerful because Stellar has already worked with people like MoneyGram, Circle, which is USDC, Worldwide Wire, IBM, right? And then multiple pilot CBDC programs. And once again, all of these are going to benefit from ISO. And then last but not least, just so you guys all understand it, it's not ISO certified, but it is ISO compliant. Sorry I forgot the O. But it is compatible, I should say. It is ISO compatible. So it's an important distinction to make. Cryptos don't get certified. They become compatible. Now, will they be able to be certified in the future? Possibly. We need to see how that is going to work. But as of right now, they're not certified, but they are compatible. So they are supporting and being compatible with the messaging. Okay. And as we know, XLM is part of that. So they get all of the boost that I just talked about in the last 3 points. So now you know what ISO is, why it's important, and how Stellar is tapping into ISO and into the financial institution sector, right? So all of these things are going to propel it into the future. And I really think in 2026, when altcoin season comes and then people are looking at ISO and there's migrations to ISO, it's just going to push everything together perfectly. Okay. So let's have a look at CoinMarketCap before we pull up the chart. So we are green across the board, up in price in the week, slightly up in market cap, and up quite a bit on volume, which is interesting. You'll see why when I pull up the chart. 85% bullish on the community sentiment, and pretty much on all the big exchanges, maybe waiting for 1 or 2, but we're pretty much covered. So looking at the chart, right? What do we see? Let's just do a quick little rundown. We have had our imbalance in price, right? This purple zone is what we call a daily fair value gap. You can see from wick to wick, that is our imbalance. We respected it before pushing to the downside. Okay, when we closed below, we knew we were going to get a push to the downside, where either to the strongest low, that is where a bunch of liquidity is standing, or the substructure low right over here, right? Where there still is liquidity, but less. It is a weaker low. Now, we just got a sweep, like barely, but it counts. And you can just see instantaneously we push, boom, to the upside. Where do we push to? Back into the daily fair value gap. How interesting is that? This zone is important. All throughout here, we push into it, right? Sorry, let me do it like this. All through here, we push into this daily fair value gap. And price says, no, I am absolutely not ready yet to go up. We are going back down. Okay, where do we go back down to? Let's break it down. So we have price for the last couple of days. And we go into this daily fair value gap. It is very, very simple, right? So price holds here and then pushes back up to the daily fair value gap here, and then just simply comes back down to the daily fair value gap. But what are we making? We are starting to have a very, very small bullish shift. And the reason for that is because we have, let's break it down. Let's go top to bottom. We have had our highs, right? So we've been in a bearish trend. We have our highs, we have our lower lows, lower highs, lower lows, lower highs, lower lows, right? Bearish trend to the downside. I think everybody can see that very, very clearly. Now, so we have our low right there, right? And what do we form? A higher low, followed by another higher low, followed by our high here, followed by a higher high. Now, yes, we did not form a higher high, unfortunately, but you can see here, we are starting to shift to the upside, right? Forming lower highs, which is a bullish pattern. Now, is it extremely bullish? No, not really. Why? Because we are kind of just trading into this box. What else I can show you guys that I don't always use, because I don't think they're the strongest confluence, but we do have our trend line, right? So we can have our trend line here, and we can have our trend line from here to here. Now, the reason I am using a trend line in this example, and I don't use it often, is because it really does seem like we had our push to the downside, right? We swept liquidity, we are holding this zone, and now we are trading in a box. But to me, it looks like price is just stuck there and it's ready to explode. And the reason I added these trend lines is you can see that a possible explosion is coming very, very shortly, right? A break to this side or a break to this side will possibly propel it to the upside or to the downside. We're going to have to see how the market and how price wants to react, but it looks very, very, I would say, how do I put this? Just together, right? Squished. There's not much movement. It's going from zone to zone. So I really do feel like a closure here or a closure here is going to push it very, very strongly. So where to buy if you're looking to buy, right? Honestly, right now is still a good area. This daily fair value gap is a fantastic discounted price. And if you want to be a little bit more safe to a bullish upside, you can wait for a closure above here. Now, this might not happen very, very shortly because we have to break this daily fair value gap, and we can see we've been holding it, right? So price maybe will want to trade another day, 2, 3, maybe another 2 weeks in this box. We are really uncertain, right? I will say though, there is also another play that you guys can do, which is leverage trades. You can take sells here and buys here, right? As long as you can see that price is not strongly pushing up to the upside. If we start getting wick plays like this, and you want to take a leverage sell to this area and then a leverage buy, that's also a possibility you could do, right? Do I think we're going to go down and sweep this low? No, most likely we are not. So I think possibility of upside play is here. And then we're going to have to face this zone. And then what I'm seeing right away is we have this daily fair value gap that price has respected in the past. So there is zones to look for, but as of right now, this is a good buying opportunity. Let's have a look at the RSI as the last thing before we call it a day. So on the daily, RSI is in the middle. So that means it really could go up or down. I do not like when the RSI is in the middle. On the daily, on the weekly, it is still oversold, which makes complete sense because we have had multiple weeks of bearish pressure, of selling pressure, right? So that is equal into the RSI. And now on the RSI, we are waiting for that push to the upside and followed by price. So that is my take on how the market is moving, where I see buying opportunities. So if you guys enjoyed the video, make sure to leave a like, comment any questions, concerns, stellar to the moon, hit that subscribe button. It really does mean a lot to me. Make sure you guys do your own research because I'm not a financial advisor, and I'll see everybody in the next video.